Hi, you can call me the gaming science teacher, and welcome to a special issue of Oculus Quest-centric news following Oculus Connect 6. The 6th annual developer conference from Oculus took place this past week, and there was a lot of news that will probably make Oculus Quest fans very happy. It started with, of course, Mark Zuckerberg taking the stage, and he let us know that Oculus Quest is, of course, selling very well. And the first new feature that he announced is the Oculus Link, which will allow Rift games to be played on the Quest via a USB-C cable. It will work with most existing USB-C cables, but Oculus will sell a dedicated one down the road in the future, and this is a feature coming in November. Next, he announced hand tracking on the Quest. With no additional hardware, you'll just be able to use your hands in VR. The beta for that is going to begin early next year. He also mentioned the acquisition of Control Labs being added to the Facebook Reality Labs family, and they are working on a wristband which enables non-invasive neural input that is now, of course, going to be integrated into VR or AR products from Oculus in the future. And he also mentioned Facebook Horizon, which is a new social platform. From the looks of it, reminds me a lot of Rec Room, or maybe VR Chat or AltSpace. That's going to have a closed beta beginning early next year. And they mentioned things that you could do like different games, building an island, painting together in VR. So there are going to be world building, creating tools, kind of like how I imagine the Maker Pen works in Rec Room. And they stressed that it was going to be a safe and welcoming kind of atmosphere where they would encourage positive interactions and make sure that everyone feels safe and respected and welcome there. Next, Andrew Bosworth took the stage and mentioned that Oculus is building AR glasses. That's really piqued my interest. I, of course, love virtual reality, but I am also very interested in augmented reality. He said that they're a few years out, and mentioned that the technology that they will use, I would kind of say it's the analogy to Oculus Insight tracking. What they're using for their AR technology is called live maps. He also did mention that you would have access to a powerful assistant, so something like maybe a Google Assistant or an Alexa might be built into these glasses. And I think it was really interesting in the kind of the concept video that they showed. A few specific things were showing the movie times right on a theater building. As someone was standing outside the theater, they looked at the building and the show times popped up. As a child was walking through the park with his family, there was some wildlife info that just popped up, letting you know about the biology and the wildlife that you would find in that park. A reminder popped up before someone left what might have been their apartment. They were walking down the stairs, and a reminder popped up for them to not forget something. That was really interesting. And at the end, it might have even been a little bit difficult to catch because it was a crowded room. They showed holographic video chat. What looked like a little girl and her dad were video chatting with someone, and he was a fully formed hologram sitting across the table from them. So these AR glasses, whenever we actually get to see them in action, might be really interesting. Back into virtual reality, Stephanie Liu was on stage and talked about some additional feature and software updates for the Oculus platform. I found it very interesting that they showed screen grabs, actual screen grabs from the user voice program, where users can go and suggest and upvote already suggested features that they want. So Oculus is definitely looking at that. So if there are features that you want for your Quest or for your Rift S, go to user voice. And if someone has already mentioned it, upvote it, and if they haven't, put it in, because they are using that. So things that have already come to the Quest were more Guardian settings, enabling casting for Beat Saber, and the ability to launch an app from your phone. So if you put your grandma in the headset, she doesn't have to figure out how to navigate the library and launch it. You can launch it for her. But new things that are coming. Upgraded Pass-Through Plus. So Pass-Through Plus was only on the Rift S before. Quest is going to get Pass-Through Plus starting next week. Pass-Through on Demand. This has been a widely requested feature, is coming later this year. That is going to be the ability to do a quick button press on the controller to see your pass-through. I know I'm really going to like that because I'm constantly peeking out from under my nose hole to see what's going on around me. I feel a little bit claustrophobic sometimes in VR, and it will be nice to just at any time I want to check my surroundings. Also, popular Oculus Go apps are going to be made available on the Quest. There will be free upgrades if you own these apps on Go through the end of the year. So if you've already purchased Go apps, check out the information from Oculus and make sure that you follow their instructions to get those free upgrades by the end of the year. And starting next week, 50 plus popular Go apps will already be available on Quest, and it sounds like they might add to that collection. Stephanie Liu also highlighted some upgrades to different tools that are available to developers that help them to improve performance, and new tools that are going to help them to track and improve their sales as well. So if you're a developer, definitely check out what Stephanie Liu had to say during the keynote from day one. She also mentioned tools to allow mixed reality capture on Quest, where traditionally it uses a green screen, and you can have a video where you see the live video of the real person, but what's around them is the surroundings from virtual reality, which is a really, really cool video method. But it seemed like it was aimed mostly at marketing, so for development studios to better market their games and apps, and not as much toward content creators. Next, Megan Fitzgerald was on stage talking about some different social features. Some more updates that are going to come to Quest include a chat. So all of our Oculus friends that we can see whether they're online. Now we're going to be able to send them a chat. We'll be able to create different events, as well as post to Facebook from within virtual reality. She also mentioned that later this year there are going to be some updates to Oculus TV on both Quest and Go, where it's going to be a hub for all media. So whether the media is coming from one source or another, you're going to be able to get it all within Oculus TV, as well as shared watching. So that thing that we all want to do when we have a friend or a relative or a loved one across the country or on another continent, or just on the other side of town, but we want to be able to watch a TV show or movie together with them. We'll be able to do that inside Oculus TV. And then Mike Verdu was on stage talking about games. So at first he made some highlights about how well games have been doing on the Quest. For example, Superhot sold over 300% more for Quest than Rift, which is amazing. Another example was Vertical Robot, who doubled their lifetime revenue in 1 week on the Quest with Red Matter. So both phenomenal examples. And then there was a segment from Beat Games, of course, the developers of Beat Saber. There will be 360-degree Beat Saber levels coming to Quest in December. That's pretty cool. They also announced that the Panic at the Disco music pack is launching next week. I really enjoyed the Imagine Dragons pack. So it looks like they're just continuing to push forward, getting popular, well-known musical artists to get their music into Beat Saber, and that's spreading the virtual reality love among people who may never have even heard of it before. So that's awesome. There was mention of a new title from Stress Level 0 in the Boneworks universe, coming to Quest next year. So I'm assuming that is not the Boneworks game that is being developed for PC VR, but a different title in the same universe. We don't know much else about that, but that's pretty exciting news. And then they showed a sizzle reel of recent and upcoming titles for the Quest, and there was a lot of cool stuff in there. The first game that was named in that sizzle reel was Snowdrift. This came out of nowhere. No one has heard anything about Snowdrift before. There was very little fanfare around it. I didn't find much around the internet about it, but it looks to me to be inspired by The Long Dark. It looks like a wilderness survival game set in a cold climate. You see wolves and deer and bears. You see the player building a campfire. I'm pretty excited about Snowdrift. The next was Paranormal Activity: The Lost Soul, which is a pre-existing PC VR game that will now be ported to Quest. Pistol Whip, which we already knew about and is coming soon. Arizona Sunshine is another Quest port that we already knew about. Half and Half, which is available now already. The Room VR: A Dark Matter. That one looked pretty interesting to me. So The Room, if you don't know, is an escape the room puzzle game that's really popular on mobile phones. And The Room VR: A Dark Matter is built from the ground up for VR and will be available on Quest. So that's pretty exciting. Five Nights at Freddy's VR: Help Wanted. So there were at least rumors, if not there already a confirmation on that coming to Quest. Obviously a very popular title. Last Labyrinth, we already know about that one, as well as Space Channel 5 VR. And A Fisherman's Tale is another port from PC VR. I am pretty excited myself about A Fisherman's Tale coming to the Quest. And Red Matter, which is already available. After the sizzle reel, we did see Echo VR on the screen behind Mike Verdu, and that one is scheduled to launch on November 7th. I'm pretty sure that's just Echo Arena with the frisbee throwing. I don't think you can get Echo Combat on the Quest. Also on the screen was Audica, and Audica Harmonix did confirm Audica is coming to Quest. And Luna was also shown on that screen there. I didn't hear anything specifically about Luna coming to Quest, but I would make the assumption that if it was on that screen there, that is the case, that we can look forward to that coming to Quest as well. Continuing on with the games, ILMX Lab was featured next. And of course, they talked about VADER Immortal Episode 2, which picks up where the first one left off. And they showed the launch trailer for that, which mentioned that it's available now. So another one that we have to go check out right now on both Quest and Rift. Just to mention some Rift games that were talked about as well during the keynote. So these will not be coming to Quest. However, if you have a gaming PC and you have the Oculus link enabled, then you might be able to play these on a Quest anyhow. But Asgard's Wrath is launching October 10th, and Stormland is launching November 14th. They're both currently available for pre-order now. And then there was a segment about a game from Respawn Entertainment, and it was announced that they are working on Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. So this is another example of something crossing that barrier into the mainstream. Whether it was Beat Saber getting popular music, whether it's The Room bringing mobile game players in, and now people who are fans of the Medal of Honor series. These are all things that are bringing outsiders into VR, and I love it because I want to share VR with everyone. So Medal of Honor Above and Beyond is set in World War II, and that's going to be available next year in 2020. To wrap things up, Michael Abrash was on stage talking about, as he does, the future of virtual reality and these immersive technologies. He mentioned that he felt he's been too optimistic in the past with his predictions. So some of the things that he predicted to be here by a certain point were not necessarily that quick. But he said, quote, "VR and AR is going to be the most significant technology of the next 50 years. So I'm on board with him. I think that these immersive technologies are going to be incredibly significant, and I can't wait for the future. So we talked about some varifocal technology, which allows you to focus not just at this set distance in your surroundings in virtual reality, but if you hold something up close to your face, that you can then focus on that and you can read it clearly. And Half Dome was the code name for the prototype that they'd shown in the past that had changing focal depth. And he mentioned that they've already gone through Half Dome 2, which was a new prototype that also had that varifocal depth that improved the ergonomics and the form factor. It was still mechanical, actually mechanically moving the lenses farther and closer from your eyes, but Half Dome 2 reduced the noise and vibration involved with that. But they blew past that already, and now they're working on Half Dome 3, which is another new prototype that has electronic varifocal display and has replaced all the moving parts. It is using liquid crystal lenses. So I think that's amazing, because as soon as I heard about Half Dome and the mechanical varifocal display, those moving parts, I thought that's bad news. Because anytime you have a consumer product that has any kind of moving parts in it, they are very, very highly susceptible to failure, and then you have all kinds of problems. So by removing the moving parts and using these liquid crystal lenses, that's the kind of technology that I can really see coming to a consumer product somewhere down the line in the future. Michael Abrash also talked about some of the technology with avatars. He showed off some of the facial tracking and expression technology coming out of Facebook Reality Labs. And he also talked about full avatar bodies, which was pretty interesting as well. Finally, he stressed that all of these things were only prototypes. These are not products. They're not going to be coming to market anytime soon. There's a lot of research and development that goes into these technologies, and the prototypes are not necessarily going to become a consumer product, and to not, expect to be buying these things anytime soon. But it definitely seemed very interesting to me to see where virtual reality and other immersive technologies are heading down the road. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in for this special issue. If you liked it, stay tuned for more, maybe tell a friend, and remember to never stop learning.